NYPD, KKK, how many bribes did you take today? NYPD, KKK, how many bribes did you take today? NYPD, KKK, how many bribes did you take today?
NYPD, KKK, how many bribes did you take today? NYPD, KKK, how many bribes did you take today?
How many New Yorkers have to die for this police department to finally come under some accountability? And now we find out, on top of that, at the highest levels, they're taking bribes, they're taking trips to Rome with hookers on the plane. These cops are as corrupt as they come. And yet, meanwhile, we're the ones who go to jail for hopping the turnstile. We're the ones who go to jail for all the bullshit, small level enforcement they want to do to us. But the bigger the crime, the more they get away with it. How many incidents of corruption does it take for there to be a complete reshaping of the police department from top to bottom? But no, you want to talk about bad apples, like it's just a few apples and they ain't nothing here in terms of culture, in terms of systems of corruption. It starts from the top, goes all the way to the bottom. When at the very top, you could get away with corruption for years and years and years with nobody in the department saying shit about it. Of course, at the street level, they're gonna punch us in the face, they're gonna smack us in the mouth, they're gonna file false reports, they're gonna lie and perjure themselves on the stand. Of course they're gonna do all this to us, because they know what they can get away with. They know what they can get away with because they see their supervisors getting away with it. They see the commissioners, they see the deputy inspectors, they see the borough commanders getting away with everything. How much longer? How many years of this corruption? How many years? 40 years ago was the NAP commission. 25 years ago was the Marlin commission. This year they ain't gonna be no commission. They're just gonna arrest 5 or 6 quote unquote bad apples. The whole apple tree is wrong. The whole apple tree is rotten from the core. It starts from the top. Ain't none of them facing no accountability. They're all gonna retire with their pensions that we're gonna pay for with our tax money. I don't know about you, but I want my tax money going to schools. I want my tax money going to education, going to housing, going to help people. I don't want my tax money going so these crooked cops could get their pensions and get to retire with all the benefits that come with it. So of course, at the street level, all these cops know they can get away with murder because they all getting away with everything anyway. And now we hear that the whole philosophy of the police department for the last 20 years, broken windows, has been completely discredited by a city agency. After years and years and years of people in the public, of studies being done about how all this low-level enforcement is bullshit and unnecessary, they finally have come to the conclusion that the numbers just don't add up. That you don't need to arrest people by hopping a turnstile to stop a murder. One got nothing to do with the other.
That's right.
That you gotta help people, not arrest people.
That's right.
That you gotta give them housing, not handcuffs. All of these things have been said by people on the ground for years, by research and social scientists for years, and they still deny it. They still want to do it. 29,000 arrests last year for people who were too poor to pay $275. That's policing? That's what's keeping us safe? That's bullshit. And they don't even want to do it, most of these cops. They do it because they got a quota over their heads. Of course, so now we got a report confirming what we all knew, that broken windows was bullshit. We got all these corrupt ass police leaders, right? The ones that they gotta listen to, the ones that they gotta report to, right? They getting away with it, they're gonna retire with their pensions, and we sitting around here going to jail. Our brothers and sisters are getting summonses for $100, sitting up in Rikers for nothing. It's all bullshit.
They're giving out gun licenses.
And they giving out
licenses.
And they talk about gun control, and they talk about getting guns off the street in the hood. And yet meanwhile, they're giving out gun licenses in the back of one police plaza if you got enough money. If you're a real estate donor, you could buy the police department. You could buy the police department and give you escorts around the city. What kind of bullshit is this? Enough is enough. Get rid of this crusty-ass police commissioner, start coming in here and start investigating all these fucking cops and all these precinct houses, and maybe, just maybe, you might start to see some change. And the change gotta start with this bum-ass mayor up here, who don't do shit for his community, who used his black son to get elected, and now he ain't doing shit. He's just sitting around waiting for this to pass over. Well, this ain't gonna pass over. What's gonna pass over is your chance to stay in the mayor's office, because your ass is gonna get voted out.
One term.
One-term mayor.
NYPD,
KKK. How many bribes did you take today? NYPD.
We need to hold these names up and keep people's names in your minds of who have committed these heinous acts against our family members. So you have Rysel Martinez that pulled his gun out on St. Nicholas and 134th Street on teenagers exercising their legal and First Amendment right to film the police. Secondly, you have a sergeant until this day the NYPD has not identified pulling his gun out on bike messengers that objected to his poor street conduct. And this is the type of department that we have. They hire people that are inherently afraid of the communities that they serve. They react and overreact with impunity, disrespect, and brutality against our people. And we're here to say that we've had enough of that. Any other city agency embroiled in a scandal to the levels of the NYPD will be completely dismantled. DOB, DOT, DOF, ACS, DHS, take your pick. If the commission of any of those agencies was overseeing top level officials taking bribes, going on trips with prostitutes, selling gun licenses for pay, they would be fired immediately, and the entire city would call for their firing. But what we have today is a problem. What we have today is a race problem. What do bribes have to do with race? What do hookers in Vegas have to do with race? What does gun licenses have to do with race? The reason why is because there's so many people in this city that are privileged, that really and truly believe that without the corrupt, heinous NYPD, that there would be anarchy in this city from blacks and Hispanics, particularly the youth. And I'm here to speak against that. Our black and Hispanic youth are our future. They are not our enemy. We do not accept mass incarceration with NYPD being the entry point to our jails and prisons. The NYPD does not protect black and Hispanic people in the community. They operate with impunity, their bad behaviors are not punished, and our mayor has been very apathetic to the issues that are going on in this city. So as long as we have officers that can walk around unnamed when they pull guns out on innocent people, there will be no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. NYPD engages in retribution. They function as a gang. Something happens to one, they take down all of our children. They commit a crime, no jail time. We commit low-level offenses or what people consider nuisances, we go to jail for that. That is gang behavior and gang mentality. This is why we are calling the NYPD today the real gangs of New York. We're here to call the NYPD the real gangs of New York. They operate as a gang. If you call the police, 50 cars show up. Someone get hit by a car, 50 police show up. One ambulance shows up, 50 police show up. That is a gang. You cannot enter a Nypd building without police officers posted in front. That is a gang. Because Nypd didn't hire NYPD as a security service. That is a gang. This is why we are out here talking about the real gangs of New York, which is the NYPD. And in a typical gang, you have your gang functions. So you have in the gangs of New York, the gun pullers. Rysel Martinez functions in the NYPD as a gang gun puller. That is his gang role. You have the gang leaders, which are Commissioner Bratton and Bill De Blasio. Those are your gang leaders. In every gang, you have thugs that just go around whooping ass for no reason. Pocahontas from PSA 1, Ocasio and Murphy from the 46th Precinct, Joel Edward from Brooklyn, who just got convicted for stomping someone on their head on their own property, and all he got was probation. That is a gang. The sucker punchers that punch Mr. Tribble in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. These are your thugs. NYPD functions as a gang. When you have thugs, when you have gun pullers, when you have bribe takers, and you have the leader up top commanding them to function in that way with impunity. That is a gang.
Right.
When I can commit crimes and not go to jail for them, that is a gang. And it's all led by Commissioner Bill Bratton. The purpose of criminalizing our children and constantly referring to them as the enemy is in order to usher in gentrification. Using the door of the criminal justice system to fragment our families and throw them in jail where we don't have any recourse. And we know it, and we are here to stop it. NYPD are the real gangs of New York. NYPD are the real gangs of New York. NYPD is the real gang of New York.
NYPD, KKK.
How many bribes did you take today? NYPD, KKK. How many bribes did you take today?
Why are we here in front of City Hall? City Hall is where all of their resources and all their power comes from. After killing Eric Garner, after killing Akai Gurley, after all the bullshit the NYPD has done, this mayor and this city council chose not to give him just 1,000, but 1,297 extra police officers. It's gonna cost the city, on average, about $200 million a year for these extra cops. Extra cops to already the nation's largest police force. Why? Why do we need 1,300 extra cops? Why can't we have 1,300 extra teachers? Why can't we have 1,300 social workers? Why can't we have 1,300 extra jobs of real social uplift? Why? Because the city council and the mayor's office is beholden to the police, always. They worship at Bratton's temple. They want more of these guys here to stand in the front, look like tough guys, and protect the mayor they don't even like. Why? Because they're gonna get their $35,000 a year starting, they're gonna get their pensions and their benefits, and no matter how fucking corrupt and how fucking sleazy and how many bribes they take, they know they're moving up the ladder. All of these deputy inspectors and these bureau commanders that have been caught up now, they was all promoted to their positions. You think this is the first time that they've been corrupt? This is only the first time we know of it, that they finally got caught up with it. They've been corrupt and they've been moved up every single step of the way. Even when Bratton knew the investigation was going on, he still promoted them. What do you think these low-level cops think? They know they could get away with shit. Of course they're gonna plant evidence on people. Of course they're gonna falsify police reports. Of course they're gonna smack you upside the head when nobody's looking. Because they know they get the fuck away with everything. They get away with everything. And it's been going on for how many years? Since I was a little boy, they've been getting away with everything. I remember hearing about Frank Serpico and all the shit that he fucking came up. And all the pressure that they do for whistleblowers. Because one thing the NYPD hates is a fucking rat. NYPD hates anyone who talks bad or exposes them from the inside. So they'll go after them. What happened to Adrian Schoolcraft? The guy who tried to blow the whistle on all this corruption that was going on in Brooklyn. They put him in a mental institute and try to silence him that way. Why? Because they know that it's not just one or two. They're all in on it. You remember the Dirty 30 up in Harlem in the 30th precinct? Yeah. That shit is not an aberration. That shit was 20 years ago. Now the corruption's going right there, 1 PP. Now you got the borough commanders taking money from these real estate developers, from these rich real estate developers and business. They basically selling themselves.
Giving them guns.
Selling themselves at the highest price.
Selling guns.
And then when they come into the hood and talk about gun control, talking about don't shoot, stop the violence, they're giving away gun licenses without having any background checks right out the back of 1 PP. This shit is beyond corrupt. That whole fucking institution needs to be crumbled down to the ground. And this fucking fake ass mayor and fake ass city council, these are the ones who enable them by giving them more resources, more cops, more power every year. They give them everything they want. So every time that they break the rules, they come over here and they give them more resources. They give them more power. What kind of shit is that? And these same real estate developers that was buying off these cops, they donated to Bill De Blasio's campaign. So you already know the corruption was in with him to begin with. This man done sold people out already. He's gonna come around next year. He's gonna talk about re-election. He's talking about how he has a black son and he has a black family. He's gonna try to endear himself to the black and Latino community as always. But all he's done is sell us out. Every time the NYPD has done something fucked up, he stands right there, don't say shit, and then Bratton gets away with everything. And now with this corruption scandal, now what are they gonna do? What are they gonna say? They can't say anything. It's all been revealed. It's on wiretaps. And what are they gonna say? They're gonna say, it was a few bad apples. That's bullshit. You know it's happening all over the city. because it's been going on since before I was born.
The phrase really is one
Selling
bad
guns.
apple
Selling
spoils the
guns to the highest
bunch.
bidder.
So when
Is
you
that
have
outrageous?
a corrupt cop, when you have a
Selling
corrupt
guns to the
lieutenant,
highest
the
bidder.
entire bunch is
To the highest
spoiled.
bidder selling
For
guns.
those who don't understand that,
Congress is having a
for those
sit-in
who don't
against
understand
guns. They
that,
selling
even the
guns to the
Bible
highest bidder.
says you put new wine in a new wine bag.
Imagine that. I know that's
You don't
outrageous.
put wine
Selling
in an old
guns to the
bag.
highest bidder.
You put new wine in a new wine bag. And this is why we call them the gangs of New York. They're selling gun licenses
Selling guns
to
to the
people
highest
that have
bidder.
convictions,
Got money, I'll
but
sell
will
your gun
pry
quick.
your door off in public
Selling
housing
guns to the
to
highest
look
bidder.
for guns.
Okay.
They will
Sorry,
pry
Chris.
your door off in NYPD housing to look for guns, but are selling licenses for guns for pay.
Baby.
Is that the key to black liberation in the city of New York?
No,
Do we all need to take up a collection and pay the NYPD not to kick our ass? Is that how we rolling
No,
now?
vote them out. Vote them out. Vote them out. The enablers, vote them out. We need your vote. If you ain't willing to fight, we'll fight, but we need your vote. Vote out De Blasio. Get rid of Bratton. NYPD,
KKK, how many bribes did you take today?
Just one.
NYPD, KKK, how many bribes did you take today?
Just two.
NYPD, KKK, how many bribes did you take today?
Just three.
NYPD, KKK, how many bribes did you take today?
Just four. NYPD,
KKK, how many bribes did you take today?